Welcome, everyone, to Strategize with Jarrett Lewis. We are so glad to have you join us today. We have a wonderful show prepared for you today. We're going to talk about social media with ministry and different ways to implement strategies and tools to help you expand your ministry and to expand your footprint and to touch more lives. We have a wonderful guest. So I want you to stay tuned for a great show as we talk about social media ministry. The corner of New Avenue and Mount Avenue. Join us every Sunday at 10 a.m., starting in the month of August. Please remain 6 feet apart. Please wear your face mask. Please remain in your vehicle. We are asking if you're sick or feeling sick, please stay home. All services will be streaming live. Watch our live stream.
Come on, everybody, put your hands together here. Put your hands together.
WOPKojic.com. WOPKojic.com. Come on, saints, let's have church.
One more time. Let the Holy Ghost move.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jarrett Lewis, and I'm inviting you to connect with me. Connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook also, at jarrettlewis.com. Check out the media tab on jarrettlewis.com and view our videos on demand. God, they will bless you. And also, don't forget our YouTube channel also. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I know you will be blessed. Blessings, everybody. Jarrett Lewis Ministries. Pray God's richest blessings upon you. And remember to strategize with the power of God. Today I'll be representing the Way of Prayer Church. We're located at 113 Mount Avenue in Wyandotte, New York. Today is a wonderful day of festivities, a parade, food, fun, and fellowship at Wyandotte Day. Wyandotte Day Parade, leaving from the Martin Luther King Clinic all the way down to Wyandotte Park. We're excited. And we know that you'll be blessed by the food that has been prepared by the saints at our church. Come on and stop by and get your plate. Thank you for joining us. I am delighted about this particular show that we have today. We're in a transition in time where a lot is changing and things are evolving, especially as it relates to social media and the internet and the World Wide Web, especially within the church perspective. There are ministries, there are pastors, there are members who are learning to become digital.
And so today, I'm honored to have an individual who is an entrepreneur, who is a successful business owner, and also he is the founder of Church Social Media Made Easy. It is my joy and honor to introduce Mr. D. Greene. Welcome, sir. How are you doing today?
What's going on, man? How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Man, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on today. We've got some wonderful questions prepared for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome, awesome. I want everyone, as we get started, take a moment and share this. And you can leave some comments in the comment section, or even text a friend and let them know that we've got a great special uh, expert on today who's going to help us with the topic of social media with ministry. You may be a pastor or you have a colleague who has a question. Take this time and just share this, take some notes, or even leave some comments. We'll be glad to help you out. So, Mr. D. Greene, I watched some of your YouTube videos, and let me tell you, they're phenomenal. And one of the videos you said, the easy way to attract new members on Instagram. You gave some valuable information there. And in this video, you shared some practical tips. And I wanted to ask you, can you just take a moment to share some insightful information as it relates to practical tips you can use, and how often, or maybe share with us some of the success you have seen using these methodologies on Instagram?
Oh, for sure. So I think the first thing to kind of talk about what you talked about, the second question was to talk about the kind of rate of success. I think, from what I've noticed, a lot of churches are really, 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 really far behind. So any progress is really a lot of progress at this time. So my whole goal is to really just get them ahead. It's not like a lot of the churches that are talking to me are coming in and they're like, hey, we have 5,000, 6,000 followers. We're trying to get to 10. Or, hey, we're getting 100 likes. We're trying to get to 1,000. It's typically like, hey, we're very new at this. We might not know how to post, or we're starting from scratch. So the results we've been able to get people is tripling, quadrupling what they're already doing, since a lot of churches are so new to this. As far as practical tips, like you said, of attracting new members with social media, the analogy I like to give people is kind of like if you go to a party and a lot of people might say, okay, I'm going to go to this party and there's other people that I want to talk to there, other businessmen, men, women, whatever it is, right? Excuse me. And so they put on the fanciest outfit that they can find, right? And they go out and they just sit there and they're like, I wonder why nobody is talking to me, right? Like I dressed up, I wore this nice suit or this nice dress, I'm here, nobody's talking to me. And that's how people are doing on social media. They're just posting content and it's like this build it and they'll come type of mentality. And instead, what I'm saying is if you go to a party, the best way to talk to people is for you to actually go and talk to that person. Might not be the longest conversation. They might get tired of talking to you, but if you know how to hold a conversation and you actually go up to that person first, the chances of them actually having a conversation with you and that relationship turning into something is very high. So on social media, churches they need to do the same thing. Don't just put out a whole bunch of content and just wait. Instead, start initiating the conversation. You can do this very easily on Instagram, where you go to somebody's profile and you drop a comment, you drop a like, you send them a DM. The same thing that we're doing in person, right? You don't just wait for people to come to church. You talk to them at work. Hey, how's your day? You want to go out to dinner? Go out to dinner. You sit down to dinner. Ask about their family. Eventually, once you get to know them, hey, we're having Easter or we're having whatever. So same thing on social media. If you want to have more members, if you want to spread the gospel to more people, don't just create content on social media and wait. Instead, go out and initiate that conversation. And then when they come back to your page, if you've been creating quality content, that's where the relationship starts. So to me, that is, people always look for these crazy out of this world tips, but it's really very simple. You want, same thing as in life. You want people to talk to you, initiate the conversation. There's so many people I know just at churches in general. People say, oh, well, this guy didn't talk to me. I'm like, okay, well, what does he say when you talk to him? Oh, I'm either. And it's like, you got to take the lead. And I think churches, we have a very good position right now to initiate the conversation with people that don't already go to church, instead of waiting for them to like our content and come. So I think that's the biggest thing. Initiate the conversation, build that relationship online, and view social media as a way to start a relationship with these people in your city and around the world that need God in their life right now.
you encourage pastors in some of your content and your information to share their struggles, share their stories, and you suggest finding a way for people to relate to the difficulties and the doubts that some pastors may be experiencing, or even some of those ministry leaders over social media. Can you share some pros, but also some cons of being transparent on social media? I wanted to get your take on that.
100%. The con is that people might make fun of you. And I think as a pastor, you have to, or as anybody, you have to think, do I care more about what people are going to think of me, or might? It's usually what they might think, right? We're just making it up in our head. It's like when you go to the gym and you're out of shape and you're fat and you're thinking everybody's looking at you, but everybody in the gym thinks everyone is looking at them, but really nobody is. It's just something we're making up in our head. So the negative part about being transparent is that people can make fun of you. They could you're vulnerable. But the good thing is you have a great opportunity to say, do I care what people think, or do I care about bringing people to Christ? I'll let somebody make fun of me all day if I'm bringing somebody to Christ and bringing them to God and impacting their life. And so I think it's just like, again, like a mindset shift. Which one do you care about? And I think pastors have it very difficult because people that don't go to church look at them as somebody that's just on this pedestal, that never does anything wrong, that doesn't relate to people, that looks down on people, that points their finger at people. And if you come on social media or just in general and you say, hey, my marriage isn't perfect, or I'm not the perfect parent, or this is a sin I might be struggling with, or hey, we don't even have the budget for our church, or hey, this, like, you're sharing those vulnerable moments. Those are the things people can relate with. People nowadays might not be able to relate with the Bible verse if they've never read the Bible. But when you say my car just broke down and I don't have enough money to get where I'm trying to go, but I'm going to rely on God to carry me through this week, they can relate with that. And then they go, oh, this pastor relies on God when things go wrong, but I've been drinking, I've been going to the club, I've been doing these things. And so slowly but surely they start to say, well, the way that I'm dealing with my problems aren't working. Let me try what they're doing. So yes, there's some cons, but it's like a small thing. And it's like once you get over that in your mind and you say, hey, there's a bigger picture, that's where I think, you have a huge opportunity to just really impact people, just with the vulnerability and being authentic, like you had mentioned.
We live in a world that one size does not fit all. A few years ago, I read a statistic by the Harvard Research Institute, and they said 5 years ago that 177,000 churches are under 100 members, 105,000 churches have about 200 members, and 12,000 churches have 1,000 members, and 6,000 have 2,000 members. And so, those numbers are changing from year to year. But that thought, one size doesn't fit all. So I'm curious, from your perspective, because you're really seeing a lot, you're engaged, you're helping individuals. What do you feel the target market should be for individuals who you are helping in the church environment or in the church industry? And what size church is the best fit for your style of program or training? Or it could be any size. Just give us your perspective on that.
I wouldn't base it on size. I would base it on mindset. I think it's the pastors, the congregation, the churches that say it's not really about size. It's about impact. It's, for me, it's one of those things. Sell them what they want and give them what they need. As they say. And I know pastors want to hear about increasing membership and increasing tithe, but really, if I see a lot of churches that they have the size, that have the views online, but they're not actually bringing anybody new to Christ, right? And that's why I always ask them,
Mm.
okay, that's cool. You got 200 views on a video, or 400 views on a video, or 50 likes, but who actually responded to you and said that brought them to Christ, or who commented and said that changed their life? Or are you just getting a whole bunch of views? Or are you just getting a whole bunch of people to come to your location on a Sunday, but then on Monday they're going right back to what they're doing? And so for me, the perfect church is a church that says, hey, we want to maybe grow, but our main thing is we want to have impact and use online as a way to turn people into disciples. And that's what we're looking to do every week. Every single week, if your church doesn't hear from somebody saying that you brought them to Christ, or you impacted their life, or they needed to hear that, or brought them through a tough time, to me, that's and I did a video about that today, but to me, that is the metric, not, hey, this is how many views we got, or this is how many members we have, or this is our tithe. It's like, how many people are you bringing to Christ? Because if you're just doing this and it's not making a difference, what's the point? So for me, it's not necessarily size. I feel like if you're at a size of like an elevation or something like that, it might not be as impactful. But small, medium size, most of the churches I talk to right now are in between less than 100 or maybe at 200. It's not a lot of churches that are coming and saying they have thousands and thousands of members. But I think for me, it's really about that mindset. It's who really wants to use social media as a way to turn people into disciples, because you could do it every single day, multiple times a day, 365, versus before it was kind of restricted to 1 hour, one day a week. So for me, it's more about that mindset than it is the size.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that response. That's incredible. What attracted to me when I first started hearing about the work that you're doing, you had a wonderful Instagram promo, and you said it was awesome. You said you explained how churches use social media the wrong way. Today, especially in a day when many churches have been forced to go digital, can you explain how a church should properly use social media? Can you tap into that for a few moments?
Yeah, of course. So let's talk very briefly on the wrong way, because that's very quick to explain. A lot of churches are using it as like a bulletin board. They go, okay, we have church on Sunday, so we need ways to get people to go to our church on Sunday. So we're going to use social media. Don't forget about church on Sunday. Don't forget about this. That we're going to send emails. Don't forget about this. We're going to send people things in the mail. And it's all advertising to get people to go to a service on Sunday. And I was talking to one of the pastors in our program the other day, and I was like, "Yo, social media erased all that. There is no one day anymore." And so you got to think of what you're doing on Sunday, and then social media is the same thing. So so your goal on Sunday is to inspire people, to bring them to Christ, to help change their life. Social media is the same thing, and I'm like, people aren't dumb, right? Even people that don't go to church, if you walk up to them on the streets and you say, "What day is church?" 9 out of 10 people are going to say Sunday. So people know that church is on Sunday. We just haven't convinced them to go. So if you can put out a video, if you can put out an image, if you could put out posts that open up their mind, that help them change their life, that bring them a little bit closer to God, they're going to do the research on their own, and they're going to go, wow, I really like that pastor. I like that message. They're a church. They're not going to go, I wonder if that church does anything on Sunday. Like, they're not going to ask that. They're just going to go, what time is it? And so your goal on social media as a church should be to inspire, uplift, motivate, all these things you're doing already on Sunday, but just do them throughout the week. People will watch that. If they like what you're saying, they're going to go to your service already on Sunday. Like, it's just, if I see a picture from a restaurant, I don't ask if they serve that food, right? Like, you just kind of make the connections. So less advertising and more thinking of it as an extension of what you're doing on Sunday. Do the same thing. Inspire, motivate, uplift, save, all that stuff. That's how we should be thinking about social media as a church.
I love that. I love that. The extension. That's wonderful. I love the way you phrase that, an extension of ministry. And certainly we are in that age right now. I know several pastors, ministry leaders who are on creative teams or on multimedia ministries. They're doing many tasks at one time. And we have pastors that are bivocational. I'm a dean of a Bible school, and uh, 90% of the students are bivocational and they're in ministry, and so they're juggling this act all the time. Can you share and help us with individuals who are trying to manage this challenge and try to improve? Give us, if you don't mind, also some success stories where you can illustrate to us evidence of how your work has assisted individuals who are bivocational, who are dealing with two things at one time, even parents who are homeschooling children and still doing ministry. It's just a
Right,
new
right.
day right now. Share your insight.
I think the first thing is just like pastors that are doing ministry and doing something else. They're spending so much time right now because COVID hit. they're trying to be online, they're trying to learn all these things. And so church social media made easy is just that. The way that I came up with this system is because I was doing the same thing they were doing. I was running a marketing agency at the time. So I was actually running like 3 or 4 different clients' social media. I was running my own social media. I had started like a Christian clothing line. I had a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it was hard for me to get any of that stuff done. And so I said, if I only have this certain amount of time, let me just do the most important things rather than trying to do everything. And so I think it's just putting pastors in that mindset to where you don't have to do everything. You just have to do the most important things really good. And so that's what we've been able to do, is to give pastors that time back, to help them spend time with their families, and put a system in place. One of the cool things that we do is we're basically we become part of their social media team. So we hop on calls with their team. We provide them with systems so they can stop micromanaging. They can let us do all of that, and then basically their team just comes to them for approval. And I think also with me being somebody that's entrepreneurial, like a mindset, that's one thing I'm helping them with as well. Is like, hey, these are, people don't want to look at church as a business, but I think it's okay to look at it like that. You know what I mean? It's just we have different goals. We're not trying to sell you a product. Our product is life change, right? Like, we want to change your life. It's the most important product there is. And so I think there's ways as an entrepreneur to look at it as like, how do we increase the tithe? How do we increase the viewership? How do we increase all these different things that other entrepreneurs are doing, whether that be like a Tony Robbins or anybody that speaks on a stage? They're thinking about that all the time. How can I get increased ticket prices? How can I increase membership? All that stuff. So I think we just take what some of those guys are doing very well outside of the faith, because they want to make millions and billions of dollars, and we say, how can we shift that over here to churches? And I think that's really what's going to help pastors, just giving them that assistant, but also saying, like, let us handle some of that stuff for you. That way you can have additional time. And I think it's just like, what do they say? Like, he who chases 2 rabbits catches none. It's so hard.
Mm.
Like, when you're trying to focus on your job and your marriage and your kids and your ministry, I think at some point in time, pastors really I'm not saying this is easy, but I think they have to say, what do I want to do? Do I want to be vocational, and do I want to run my ministry and kind of do a little bit both at 50%? Or do I want to go like 80% in over here? And I might not have the money right now. I might not be able to do all these things I want to do, and it might be uncomfortable, but I have a better chance of succeeding if I just put my head down and focus on the ministry, if that's what you're feeling called to, and just trust God with the rest. And just whenever you need help, hire a professional or learn what you need to learn. Like, I don't think that, like Moses is like, whenever he's taking them out of Egypt, like, he didn't have like a part-time job, probably. Like, that's his whole thing. And so I don't think it's bad to have a part-time, because you need that income. But I think at a certain point, you have to say, how committed am I to this? And even if it's difficult, I got to push. So I think we can help them with the time, but I think also it comes down to, how committed do you want to be to this? And are you willing to go all in, even if you don't have the funds and the money right now, and just trusting that God will, provide that way for you?
That's great. I think Moses is a wonderful example too, because his father-in-law Jethro told him, "You're going to have to delegate. You're going to burn yourself out. Find
Right.
somebody with the Holy Spirit." So, I think that's a great illustration, a great story. There's so much we can talk about. I would love to hear, another success story from one, how you've helped somebody. Maybe a quick story if you can. And then finally, I'm going to ask you just to share how people can get in contact with you. You have so much to offer. I love your positivity. I love your creativity. And I love the target for the timing that we're in. I think it's so essential that we have someone who's emerging, who has the knowledge. You didn't share much about your background, but you are a computer science major, so you have familiarity with systems and computers and knowledge. So certainly I know that you could be an asset to many people. So do those things for me, 2 things for me. If you don't mind, share a quick story, how you were able to help somebody. And then finally, give us how you would like people to get in contact with you and what you would like to share about your business and your program.
Of course. I think the first one, how we've been able to help people. I think the number one thing, or not the number one thing, but a very important thing I want churches to realize is, like, social media is not like a magic pill or a magic wand. Like, I know everybody wants this, hey, we don't want to put any work into it. and we just want it to be like this system that runs for us. And I'm like, it's work, right? If you were to go back into, Bible times, they had to build a boat, get on a boat, learn how to ride the boat, learn how to steer the boat, learn how to catch the fish so they didn't starve while they're on it. They had to learn how to speak different languages, ride camels, all these things that are hard to do, not fun to do. Like, they're not walking in the desert with like the newest pair of Nikes, right? Like, they got a beat up pair of sandals. So it's like hard work. And so all we're asking, people to do is pick up this phone. It's free to use. And so, yes, we can help you, but it's still work. And I think that's what we have to realize. Like, we're helping people not go to hell. And so we don't, sometimes it's like, well, we don't want to spend 30 minutes a day. Like, you don't want to get to heaven and like, we gave you this free tool and you didn't use it. So it's not something that's overnight. We've been able to help people. Like I said, a lot of the churches that we're helping are like scratch, right, on social media. Like, they didn't have any clue of what they're doing. So what we've been able to do thus far is really just help change their mindset. A lot of these pastors, the main thing that they've been telling me is that we've helped them see what online ministry looks like, right? Like, a lot of pastors were thinking that, hey, this is just a platform to advertise to get people to Sunday. And what they're seeing now is, hey, we can use social media to do, like, to save people all the time. Like, there is no such thing as just a Sunday service really now. And I think that's been the biggest compliment that pastors have said, especially the ones that have a outside job, because they're like, you're helping us actually see the impact. Pastors work extremely hard. And on Sundays, how many people actually go up to the pastor and say, hey, that was a great sermon. That was a great message. I'm glad you said that. I was struggling with this. I was about to commit suicide yesterday. And this message, I'm not going to do it. Like, most people don't, for whatever reason, don't say that. They're going out to eat, or they feel like they can't talk to the pastor for whatever reason. But on social media, it's different, right? People will leave a comment. They'll send you a message. They'll shoot you an email. It's more intimate. And so that, it has been, I think, the biggest thing is not just like the views and the more members and all that stuff. We've been able to do that. Like I said, triple the numbers, quadruple the numbers. But for, you said specific examples, the pastors that have joined recently, it's like they have really mentioned about the mindset shift that we've been able to give them, of really being able to be a pastor outside of just that Sunday. They work so hard on that one day. And I'm like, a lot of the videos that you see me doing is just like me just off the top of my head, right? Like, it's not me coming up with a script. So as we're teaching them how to do that, and they're coming up with videos throughout the week and just improvising, basically, that's making their Sunday service so much better, because that they're actually writing down, they're coming up with slides. So I'm like, man, if you can come up with something, if your car can break down and you can off the top of your head just say, hey, my car broke down, I wasn't gonna be able to get to work, but I'm gonna trust in God, blah, blah, blah. And you can do like a 2-3 minute video. Now, when it comes to Sunday, you're gonna be on top of your game. And I think what pastors have to realize, it doesn't matter how many Bible verses you know or how much scripture you know, if you can't say it in a way that relates to people that don't know that stuff. And I think that's really what I'm helping them with, is like, hey, there's people out here that are listening to Drake or going to the club or whatever it is. They don't know about Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all these types of things. They hear these Bible verses and they're just lost. And so we have to put it in a way that they can receive it. That way we can get that end result, which is them coming to church, them getting to know people, and them coming to Christ. So I think that has been like the biggest thing the biggest result we've seen is just that mindset. And I think the more pastors that have that mindset, the more churches that have that mindset, that's how we'll start to see like the world change, because we have to do it. If churches don't get on social media and push, you can already, just turn on the news. Like, you can see what it looks like. And if we can learn how to market better than Nike, better than all these companies, like, just imagine if that's all you saw on the news and on Instagram and social media was a positive message, uplifting message, something that made you feel good. And that's really my goal. And so I think, that's been the biggest thing for me so far, is just helping them have that mindset shift.
All right, share with us your contact information. I think we've got some comments here. We've got some people curious and find a way to get in contact with you. Let us know how they can get in contact with you and what to expect.
So I think the easiest way, and I think you guys have it there on the screen, is just going to myname.com. So just go to D Greene, that's D with 2 E's, Greene with the E at the end, so DeeGreene.com, and you'll have access to everything. So you'll have a blog post of me. There's a way to book a call with my team. There's my social media handles. everything you need is on that page. So dgreene.com, contact information, everything you need right there in one place.
Yeah, and you even give a free class on your website. I was so impressed by that. So I see your motivation to help people. Let me say thank you, Mr. D. Greene. It's been an honor to speak with you. Keep up the good work. God bless you, and certainly God has so much in store for you. We'll stay in contact, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I pray that you were
Awesome.
blessed by this broadcast on today. Consider making a financial contribution or donation to our TV program. Perhaps you can give $20 or $50 or even $100. We are empowering lives with the gospel of Jesus Christ. There are two ways you can make a financial contribution: by Cash App or mailing in your offering. For Cash App, $JERITT LEWIS. It's $JERITT LEWIS. Or you can mail in your donation to 831 Sycamore Avenue in Bohemia, New York, 11716. Once again, there are two ways to give. You can give by Cash App or by mailing in your donation. For Cash App, it's $JERITT LEWIS. Or mailing your donation to 831 Sycamore Avenue in Bohemia, New York, 11716. Thank you, and may God richly bless you.
Know that you learned a lot. Certainly, I pray that God will bless your endeavors as you seek to bless people and touch people with social media. Once again, remember, strategize with the power of God, and we'll see you on next week. God bless.